Um, Good that you are here. I'm going to talk, I don't know, for 25, 30 minutes, hopefully with you, about the education at University College Groningen. I will introduce myself in a second, and then I will tell you something about what is liberal arts teaching. And finally, we will have a look at the program of UCG, what opportunities you have, what our teaching philosophy is, and also, yeah, what you can get out of it. So where you can land in maybe a master's program. So as Marika already said, whenever you have a question, let me know or let us know. That can be in the chat, but you can also just, I don't know whether your mics are also working, but if you want to interrupt me via the microphone, that's also fine. Um, but anyway, on the picture of this very beautiful slide, you see the building of University College Groningen, very old building, and all classes of the University College take place in this building, and also all faculty is working in this building. It's a very nice building. However, in a year we are going to move somewhere in the very close to the city center, and there we will have a super modern new building. Yeah, maybe you will get to enjoy both the old and the new building. So what you can also see on the picture is that this photo is taken on a sunny day. Well, this is unlike the weather at the moment. It's very grim outside, so that also explains why here in my room it's a little bit darkish. So I try to optimize the lighting here, but this is really the best I could do. So let's start with the actual presentation. So here you see a better picture of myself. I am an associate professor of economics. I am working full time at the University College, and I am responsible for all the economics and international business courses. That implies that some of them I teach myself, but I also fortunately have a couple of very, very good colleagues that are also teaching some of those courses. And besides the economics courses, if you would come to University College Groningen, you would see me in statistics courses, but also in courses where you learn how to do academic research. I'm quite familiar with the program. So I hope to guide you through in this session. So as I already explained, there are two big topics on the table today, on the agenda today. What do we teach and how do we do that? So let's dive into this right now. So, University College Groningen is a small faculty, and we are a bachelor program in liberal arts and sciences. And that, of course, begs the question, what is that really? What is liberal arts education? And as I said, I hope that this presentation is very interactive. So I would like to pass the ball to you. Could you please, in the chat, tell me what do you think? What is it? Liberal arts education, please. I'm still waiting for the first answer. The ability to study lots of different things. Caden, thank you. You are definitely right. A bachelor course that allows the freedom to choose your own subjects. Yes, yes, indeed. I will talk about this as well, by the way, how you can combine fields to kind of create your own specialization. Stephanie says, and later focus on what most interests you. Yeah, that is also true about our program. In the first year, you get the opportunity to orient yourself towards different fields. And as the program progresses, yeah, you are kind of invited to more and more focus on really a field or two fields in which you like to specialize. Okay, so we now have what is it? Three answers. Uh, I hope to receive one or two more. Not yet. Maybe still on their way. Um, so let's talk about your answers in a little bit more depth. Um, it is completely true that you have the ability to study lots of different things. And I said, I will talk about it, but in a nutshell, liberal arts and science at University College Groningen is about social science, humanities, and it is about science. Oh, I have a next answer. It has a critical thinking approach. Indeed. Thank you, Virginia, because that is actually where I wanted to start the discussion. Because where does liberal arts actually come from? And let's dive into that right away. Um, Liberal arts and wait, more in the chat. Hey, you are getting warmed up. That's actually quite cool. There is a broad choice in subject matter. Question mark. Yes, that is true. As far as I know, it ranges from natural sciences to humanities and everything in between. Correct. Correct. And as promised, we will dive into that. Now, in antiquity, and then we go to ancient Greece, liberal arts education was mainly focused on this critical thinking approach, where liberal arts education was offered to free persons, and those were predominantly men. So it was not so emancipated. Um, so back then, the idea was to receive education such that you would be able to participate in society. And so hence it required what they called a well-rounded education. Now, that well-rounded education is still a pillar of the liberal arts and science program that we have in Groningen. Now, of course, the field progressed, and after the ancient Greeks, the Romans took over world dominance. And in the Roman Empire, liberal arts education was already focusing on a variety of subjects. So there you had the so-called trivium, the so-called language subjects, and then you have to think about grammar, rhetoric, and logic. And also you had the quadrivium, which were the mathematical arts, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music, which quite funnily was considered a mathematical art. So, of course, those courses are not exactly the courses that we are teaching, even though you still have the opportunity to study mathematics. But nowadays, it is put in a modern jacket. A modern jacket, as it was said, from the natural science to the humanities, philosophy, and arts, and everything in between. So, at University College Groningen, we still have this liberal arts tradition, and I already mentioned that one of these traditions is the critical thinking, becoming a well-rounded, academic, so to speak, and we also still rely on the educational philosophy that was already put forward in ancient Greece, namely that we have small classes. So that means in a typical course that you are taking, there are about 15 till 20 students in a room. For some of the courses, like I'm teaching statistics, that is a bit more, but there are also quite many courses for which it is a bit less. For example, my colleague Marlieke told me that in her current arts course, there are only 4 students. And of course, that has the implication that if you are taking a course with only 4 of your classmates, then there is a lot of interaction between you and your teacher, as well as a lot of interaction between you and your peers. And given the amount of interaction, it means that you can take out much more content in a course in comparison to other faculties where you are supposed to just read a textbook and follow lectures with 400 people in a room. Now, the other tradition that we also still rely on is that at UCG you have the opportunity to orient yourself towards different fields. So one of my current bachelor thesis students, he started as someone interested in psychology and then shifted towards economics. And now he's now about to write his bachelor thesis, and all of a sudden it popped up that he wanted to combine psychology with economics. And that's what we often see at university college. People have some idea of a field that interests them, but over time, yeah, other opportunities rise to the occasion, and people, yeah, also preferences may change. So, given the fact that we are exploring different fields, we are also highly what we call interdisciplinary. And given the interdisciplinarity, our education, especially in the projects that I'm going to talk about later, is focusing very much on tackling what we call complex problems or open-ended problems. Society, as you know, is a highly complex environment for which, yeah, one size fits all solutions are hardly available. Now, given the fact that we are exploring solutions through the lenses of different fields, it allows you to, yeah, get a much more nuanced view on society. So let me proceed. Here you see the structure of the program of University College, yeah, in a certain way. What you see here are, let's say, 3 circles, one representing the humanities, one representing the sciences, and one representing the social sciences. And within each circle, you see the so-called fields of study that we have on offer. Let me quickly list them. Psychology, politics and law is a field of study. Economics and international business is a field of study. We have the health and life sciences, interdisciplinary AI, which is probably becoming more and more interesting and important in the future. We have the neurosciences, arts and culture, and lastly, philosophy. I now see that there is a question in the app. Is that correct? Uh, oh, I see that some of you still have responded a bit late to the initial question, what you can do. Cool. Okay, thank you for your input, but I'm now proceeding with where we are now in the presentation. So, in principle, it is possible to combine any field of study. For example, if you are interested in ethics in medicine, just to name an example, you could specialize in the health and life sciences on the one hand and combine that on the other hand with philosophy. If you are interested in, I don't know, the market for culture, so for, I don't know, pop concerts, you could combine economics with arts and culture. And yet, in that respect, the sky is the limit. You really literally can combine any field. However, some of the combinations occur more often than others. So let us dive into some of these combinations. And let me start with an example that is actually not a combination, but has a very clear focus. And that is, suppose you would be interested to follow a master in medicine after your 3 years in the bachelor. Well, if you would like to do that, then you can follow a certain track within the health and life sciences field of study, and that prepares you to ultimately flow into a master in medicine. Well, as said, it is possible, but this is, of course, not a combination of fields. This is a very specific track that you could take within UCG if you are interested in doing a master in medicine. But now let's focus on some of the combinations that occur quite often. The so-called PPE combination, philosophy, politics, and economics, is quite a dominant field of study in the program. In fact, if you are taking the combination of these three fields, you can even do a double degree program with our faculty, in which you follow your bachelor in Groningen, but also fly out to Venice, Italy, for a period of time to follow courses over there. And likewise, PPE students from Venice, they also come to Groningen to take courses with us. And I think, you know, if you have an interest for these fields, this is very a unique opportunity to follow courses at two places, on two awesome places in the world. Now, since I have this on my screen now, I can also tell you about the PPE program that I personally am advocating, that I'm doing research in, and that is economics, politics, and psychology, which you can also combine. And also on the side, what I'm doing in my research, I'm also combining economics with sports science. That is also possible. It's not even in the list here. Okay, by the way, as I said before, if you have any questions, feel free to drop something in the chat. Another example, which is also very popular, is a specialization in cognitive science, in which you can combine the neurosciences, possibly with programming or AI, and psychology. So this allows you to get a broad understanding of how the human mind and brain works, and why do people behave in the way they do. So just another example. Social media business, which combines international business, for example, with arts and culture, but it could also be combined with interdisciplinary AI. It could also be combined with law. So here you can see that, there are almost an infinite, and well, it's of course finite, but there are many combinations possible of tracks that you could take. So that closes this first part of the presentation, and let me dive into the second part of the presentation as well, and that is that besides these, I would say, monodisciplinary specializations, interdisciplinarity at UCG is very important. And throughout your program, you are invited or forced, basically, to cooperate with your peers on many different assignments, projects, research papers, and what have you. And then what happens is that all of a sudden, you, as, I don't know, a psychologist, have to work together with somebody in IT or with a philosopher. And because we are doing this on a daily basis, you actually develop yourself as a person who is well able to speak, as we call it, different scientific languages. Meaning, if you talk to a statistician, you know the lingo that this person is using. If you are talking to a scientist, you also know how they communicate. And when I'm talking about communication, I'm talking about literally the communication on paper, but also on I would say the culture within a field of study. So um, upon arrival at UCG, literally from the first week onwards, you have to work together with other people. And yeah, it is my experience that all those cooperations are big fun. And one of the most important interdisciplinary teamwork efforts are the so-called projects. Now, in every year, so year 1, year 2, and year 3, at the end of the year, you are asked to do a project. And what you do, you pick a theme or you choose a theme, and that theme is always supervised by 2 or sometimes even 3 scholars, so people like me, who come from a different field. And within that theme, you have literally carte blanche to study something within that theme. So to give you an example, on the picture you see somebody in a wheelchair, and there is one ongoing project within the university college, which is called Disabled City, and it's about disability, and particularly about the mobility of disabled people in the city. So what people are doing within those projects, they are exploring the city and they look for opportunities to improve the mobility of people in a wheelchair. And the cool thing about this project is that students also get to experience what it is like to be in a wheelchair. And what's more, they get also the experience to work together with people that are confronted with mobility issues within the city. So, as said, this is just one project. I'm currently thinking about an economics project to combine it with literature, in which I would like to write a children's novel explaining basic economics on primary school level. And so also there is a wide variety of possibilities available. What is actually the time? I am now talking already for 24 minutes, so I move on. And here you see another representation of the program, but now you see it with a focus on the first year. And if you look at this graphic, you see that there are 3 different kinds of shapes and colors. You see the rectangles, and in each block you see that a rectangle is either a core elective or a major elective. Now, what does that mean? In the core electives, you get to choose interdisciplinary courses in which you focus on a topic from the viewpoint of different fields. So, to give you two examples, one example is called "This is the Z." This is the Sea, in which you combine biology with what is it? What's more, biology with geography, but also business. And another example is the course Love, where you can focus on the topic love from a psychology point of view, a psychological point of view, but you can also focus on love from a philosophy point of view or from a law point of view, even an economics point of view, if you will. Now, that is all happening in the core electives. And then we have the major electives. That's where I'm active. So in the third and in the fourth block, it may be that you think, hey, I want to develop myself as an economist. Well, then you can take a specific economics class. But it could also be that you think, hey, no, I want to be in science. And then you can take a specific science class. So those are the rectangles. Now, then, apart from the rectangles, you see the what is it actually? A purplish, yeah, uh, an ellipse, I would call it, with academic skills and academic research, and those are two big general courses in which you learn the skills. But also the process of doing research and being an academic. So to exemplify in academic skills, you learn how to write academically. You learn how to present academically. You learn how to reference. You learn about plagiarism. You learn about ethics, etc., etc. By the way, as of next year, you also learn about AI, how to use AI if you are doing research. And then the other course is academic research, where we take you by the hand through the process of a research project. So a research project begins with a question, then you formulate a hypothesis, then you design your study, you collect data, you analyze your data, and based on the analysis, you draw conclusions. And when you have your conclusions, that of course opens up new questions. And then the circle starts again. Now, that is all happening in academic research. And then lastly, we have almost circles. Actually, those are way more ellipses, where we have exploring challenges of modern society and the project, in which you explore one big theme like climate change and focus on it from different angles. Okay, so that's in a nutshell what the program looks like, and I will proceed. That is, I'm going to summarize what you have heard before. So the educational vision of the university college is, it rests on a couple of pillars. First, and maybe even most importantly, is we have small classes and a lot of interaction between students and lecturers. So earlier today, I had one of my statistics groups in my office, and we had a half an hour chat about their research project, and we were with the five of us, me and four students. So we had a very good, meaningful, and in-depth discussion about what they have learned in their statistics course. Now, the second pillar, actually also exemplified by this statistic group, is that we want you to be proactive and do independent research. Come up with your own questions. And we try to guide you as well as possible in your learning experience regarding the questions and the fields that you are interested in. Now, the third pillar, I have not mentioned that, but that is the cool thing of having small classes from a teacher perspective, and that is that we often try to do innovative teaching. So when all of a sudden there is a new, I don't know, class experiment on vogue, then at UCG you are often subjected or exposed to those new innovative ways of teaching, and that makes it quite fun because we do things other students don't do. There's a nice question. Elisa asked, when you mentioned AI used for your projects, were you speaking about generative AI or an AI used for summaries and sped up web searches? Well, actually, all of them. All of them. So what we have learned is if you ask ChatGPT to do a complete project for you, you get very mediocre quality output. But if you ask ChatGPT to think along, to brainstorm along in generating ideas, hypotheses, models, then ChatGPT becomes a surprisingly good tool. Now, when it comes to web searches, you can, of course, Google, but you could also use an agent who systematically searches the internet in order to provide you with proper information. So, Elisa, maybe you know Perplexity. Perplexity is an awesome tool to use in order to get useful information. Now, when it comes to AI for summaries, that's a whole other discussion. I leave that aside because I'm running out of time. Yes, you're welcome. Lastly, motivated lecturers and students. At UCG, the quality of the classes is highly dependent on the input of students. So, for example, during my academic research course, I start every lecture with discussing the homework, the preparatory questions. And these preparatory questions are often open-ended questions, meaning there is often not a right or wrong. And we want you to think about things in an original way, in a structured way, and in a well-argumented way. Now, if we are discussing that and there is no input from a student, of course, then it stays silent in the room and nobody improves. So fortunately, at least with my current cohort, there is a very lively, dynamics in the class that people are educating each other. And that is, at least in my view, what it should be. Now, of course, this is the dream scenario, and currently I'm living the dream. But in some other classes, that sometimes also may be more problematic. For example, if you have to teach a class on Friday afternoon from 3 till 5, and everybody is already thinking about the weekend. Anyway, on average, we have very motivated students and also lecturers. All right, that brings my presentation almost to an end. The last couple of things that I want to share with you is that almost all our students end up in very good master programs. As my Australian colleague Ryan always would say, they end up in blue chip institutes. And you have to think about places like London School of Economics or name a different one, New York University, University of Mannheim, the University of Zurich, I know by heart. So if you want, you can get a lot out of your studies at UCG. I would like to thank you for your attention. Of course, I also have to do some shameless marketing that our program once again has been listed as a top-rated program within the Netherlands, meaning that from a survey, it turns out that UCG students are among the most satisfied students in the country with their program. Which for me is sort of a proof that everything what I've told you is not completely nonsense. Thank you for your attention. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them now, and then Marike and I will try to answer them as well as we can. Thank you.